Welcome to the Shopify Kryptonite episode 15. Teemu is this week on holiday, so on my behalf, very welcome here. My name is Mikko Rekola. I'm working as a lead growth hacker at Woolman, one of the biggest Shopify Plus partners in Europe. The topic of today is following. Which three growth applications should I use in my Shopify/Shopify Plus store to grow? What kind of apps are the biggest companies using? This is a topic that is fairly often asked from us, and trying to cover this as good as I can. And the basic starting point as a merchant to be is that we wouldn't necessarily recommend you installing any apps. By default, Shopify is much better compared to many other platforms such as WooCommerce or Magento or the others, because our apps are always updated automatically without any big technical issues or glitches. So that being said, it's easy. But our basic recommendation always when we are in building Shopify stores and helping our merchants to grow is to double check that what apps you have there. You should only install apps you actually require and need. And the basic issue I see on weekly basis is that there have been installed tons of apps and the merchant is not using them. So basic thing here would be just to stop, look at the apps I've installed, what am I doing with the apps, and ask you the very basic question. You already have a lot of data in your Shopify and Shopify Analytics. What can I learn from this data? What growth hurdles can I pick from here? And then, only then, think about those possible apps that would help me out. And still, if you feel that, hey, I'm lacking information, or I would need to do too much manual labor doing Excels or any calculations that would actually help me to be a better merchant, that would help our store to unlock the next steps on our growth graph, then you might want to consider and look for other apps. And then the first possible growth app here, which I would definitely recommend, is to have some sort of recording/heat map app. Typically, we are talking about apps such as Lucky Orange, Crazy Egg, or some other recording softwares. There are plenty of them available. Our basic recommendation has been Lucky Orange. The pricing is very affordable, even for the smaller merchants, but it's fairly inexpensive and providing you all the data bits you need. It can record all of your sessions. It doesn't that much slow the shop down. It has very advanced analytics showing you by even by UTM tags what's happening, where is your traffic coming from, and then you're able to highlight and concentrate traffic coming from one specific paid marketing campaign. That being said, this app also has a very good basic heat map tool where you can see that what's happening with your store, what's happening within your customer journeys. And I want to stop here for a tiny while, because if you have chosen a good or well-working Shopify theme, then the basic thing there is that those customer journeys are fairly well working. At Woolman, we always recommend our merchants to choose from a certain amount of themes that we know really well that go with the most e-commerces. Therefore, the customer journeys are fairly simple, and as they have been proven by other merchants, then most likely that wouldn't be the bottleneck in your direct consumer business. However, if you have chosen a theme that is newer one or is done by a developer that has probably made it for a special purchase behavior, such as only subscribing business, or that the theme would be like super visual. We've seen lots of those lately, that they have lots of big images, lots of moving images, but they are maybe aimed at businesses that are selling only by the visual side. And then the issue there comes that the customer journey might get a bit troublesome, and then these recording softwares are very useful to understand that, hey, what are my clients actually doing inside my store? Should I change this somehow? Is my shop working within this team? Then of course we have lots of our merchants who have done some customized themes, or they have customized those existing themes with certain things that they have required, either on the product card or menu or wherever. So with recording software, you are easily able to track what's actually happening there, and then trying to see that, hey, did I do the right job? Did I change something for the better or for the worse? And what should this then mean in the future? And yeah, lastly, then, like, if you have fully customized theme, that's usually, like, typically in most cases when you have these Shopify Plus stores for brands that want to have a more in-depth structure, or create real, like, unique feeling there with lots of visual elements, and there you have more freedom to do things. However, from commercial perspective, those stores typically have lots of adjustments after the launch, due to the fact that we have tried to map how people behave in a store, but then the actual fact that what's happening there is based on our estimates, but the truth might be completely opposite. So that will then require, like, new iterations, and for that a recording tool is a must. This being said, you're free to install any of those tools there, but my actual advice here would be to listen to an expert. So hire an expert who has been looking at those sessions to help you to use that tool. It's like putting money to the bank, because the majority don't really know that how should I, like, interpret those actions or clicks there, and what does this then mean. So take an expert who has been looking at thousands or tens of thousands or even more sessions to help you out with that. That's very welcome. And then one question here is that, oh, right, why Lucky Orange? From our perspective, it's the best out of those tools. So people usually talk about Hotjar. That's another option, fairly good. But if you have the choice to go with the best possible tool on the market, our take is, at the very moment at least, Lucky Orange. And then looking a bit, like, further, the second thing isn't actually a Shopify app, but something that we recognize a lot is that the marketing copies, writing those marketing copies, how to do it. As you know, these like softwares such as like Facebook and Google Ads, they are improving all the time, and now they are even adding their advanced machine learning, so that they are, like, recommending you some marketing text there, how to write your best ad copies. That's very welcome, but I also want to highlight that there are additional tools just for this purpose. So if it feels that you are not it's not your specialty to write these ad copies, and you are doing, like, lots of advertising. I mean that you are probably spending to paid advertising like thousands, tens of thousands, or even more by month. Then my recommendation is to hire a ad copy specialist. And the other thing then also is to use these automation tools that will then, like, deliver you, like, hundreds or thousands of different ad copies based on your keywords, and then are able to test them out both with, like, email automation, marketing email letters, and all your paid acquisitions. So that's a big step, and that shows you what marketing these days has become. So you don't need to focus on that. And if you definitely notice that this is something I'm struggling with, I could be really good in visuals, but I'm really struggling with ad copies, there is no shame to look for some help there, because that will ultimately like increase those CTRs, and in many cases we will also measure that's like increasing the conversions, and customers are more happier when they get like, or they see content that they actually feel that this is really relevant for me, and this is really like something that is appealing, and not just that bold old school marketing text. This is something else. So very much recommended to check those out as well. And then probably hoping that there will be some sort of solution for this also on Shopify App Store in the very future. Who knows? Then third part, and this is a big one as such. It's about like asking clients who have just purchased from you, and this is something that after working with e-commerces in North America and Europe, I have to say that people in the States and Canada are far ahead of us. So they are like willing to gather more data, trying to analyze the data. Many European merchants are happy just when they have received the sales that, hey, now I sold something, I got money, I'm happy. But like the choice stops there, that, hey, it's money, but I don't actually want to know. I don't want to understand how my clients are behaving and what they do, what kind of profiles they are, where did they learn from me. So there is one app called Inquire, which is like very good. It's used by many of the biggest direct-to-consumer stores and brands across the globe. It gives you the option that after the checkout page, there will be a slight questionnaire where you can manually add any possible options. You can ask that, hey, where did you hear from us? Was it email, a friend, Facebook, Google, Bing ads, TikTok, whatever, Instagram? And then you can measure that. So that gives you the possibility to ask actual paying clients somewhat of a good question. That's just one example out of those questions. So then you can gather the data, and then you can try to like understand and validate that data, that, hey, where do they actually come from when they purchase? Where do they get the final push? Or where did they eventually even like hear from us? So it's very welcome to gather data, and Inquire app is like amazing for that purpose. Super easy, fairly affordable. There is not that much competition there yet, so I recommend trying that out, whether you are a Shopify or a Shopify Plus merchant. Valuable data, and then just like pay attention to the fact that when you gather all sort of data just like this, you should also have the time to analyze that data and really try to push and understand that data better. So e-commerce is all about like understanding what's happening with my clients, why they are behaving like this, how did they learn from us, and why they are loving our products. So dare to ask your clients questions. And so this is something that I truly recommend all of you. I want to thank you for today. Our time is soon up. We will get back to you with other types of growth apps in the upcoming episodes, talking about lifetime value, order frequency, and other topics. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us, send us questions, and we are delighted to discuss those topics in the future episodes. Good luck with your business. Take care. Bye bye.